Look at all this free pussy around me.
My darling, I'm hungry for your touch.
Eat my ass.
I'm definitely not going to do
Eat
that.
my ass.
You won't do that for me. Never mind.
Eat my ass.
So long, lonely time.
I'm gonna fuck 40-year-olds tonight.
Sorry.
The Roast of Richie Oliver, starring Richie Oliver, Nicholas Anderson, Ben Milo, Reagan Murphy, Tegan Flanders, and Stephen Norton.
Yay! All right. We thank you for joining us tonight. We have a night of laughs and entertainment. And if you're on parole, this does count for community service. So bravo to that, right? Oh, absolutely. Welcome to the Roast of Richie Oliver. We know what you're thinking. Why? What are their pronouns? And who is Richie Oliver? Let's find out. Richie Oliver was born in New Bedford, Massachusetts. If you don't know where that is, don't worry. In about 5 minutes, it's changing its name to Methadonia. It's like Narnia, just with more dead addicts. Richie had a pretty average upbringing. Richie had a mom, a dad, and a lot of other people who pretended to love him.
Oh, fuck you.
Richie had siblings, but after having him, his parents decided to be advocates for a woman's right to choose to abort the next 3 failures. Richie went to SNU, Southern New Hampshire University, where Richie studied social media marketing. Who knew a millennial could get a degree spending more time on TikTok doing the twerk? While there, Richie studied acting, improv comedy, and communications. This is when Richie started to get the urge to perform in life. Richie caught the acting bug. Don't worry, everyone. Clearly, the rest of us are immune to catching talent. This is also where Richie met his collaborative partner, Alex Weber. They do a podcast that you guys can watch on a regular basis. It's called Socially Distant. They interview people. They talk about topics they care about. Now, Mr. Weber wanted to be here tonight, but he obviously died in a horrible mass murder suicide. Our prayers and condolences to the families of the school of retards he killed.
Jesus. God.
Wow.
Richie has a lot of tattoos. He's actually very proud of his tattoos. He finds that they're great for expressing who he is to the world. So me and Richie went out last night and we decided for this special event to get brand new matching tattoos together. Take a look.
Jesus.
Consider this consent.
God.
Oh, that's just for you, Richie. All right. So we also have a dais here tonight. We have Ben, also referred to as Captain Redbeard, the largest man we could put on a tiny little screen. We've got Reagan. I actually completely forgot your last name. That's how insignificant you probably are. But we have Reagan, a wonderful human being with bright pink hair. We also have Jesus come back from the dead for the second time. We had to resurrect Jesus for this, Tegan Flanders. We also have the only man on our dais who's not allowed anywhere near a middle school anymore, Stephen Norton. And of course, Richie Oliver. But now on to our first presenter. He's large, he's amazing, And when we talked to him a little bit about this roast, he told us 2 years ago he ended up having cerebral palsy. And so he also let us know that he grew up without a lot of friends and that nobody really wanted to be near him. In fact, even his face said, "I fucking give up on you." So anyway, Ben Milo.
Thank you. I've made a miraculous recovery from my cerebral palsy. and not the Bell's palsy that I had 2 years ago. When I heard there was going to be a roast for Richie Oliver, I thought, man, that's a guy who's had too much roast already, but I guess he wants one more. And you know what? How's it going? My name's Ben. I'm a West Coast elite among all those East Coast heathens, so, pay attention to me. They had me, if you might have recognized me from the last two roasts, I went first there too. They realized that people might still be watching at that point, so they want something that they think will actually be funny. So here I am, top of the show. So I just want to say first and foremost that Richie is a very brave gentleman. We're doing this roast on the account of his charity, the Neck Foundation of America. We're always trying to help people who have no necks. You look at Richie himself, man. He's like if someone bit the head off a gummy bear and then just plopped a gumdrop right on top. Richie and I actually had a podcast for, I think it was a long-running podcast, Richie. I think it went about a month and a half, and it was a smash hit, which is why we're both still here working with Not Safe for Earth. It was called Records and Reels. It was a show where we discussed movies for about an hour, and then at the last 5 seconds, we decided that we wanted to talk about a song. So we spent about 5 seconds on a song every episode, and I just want to say that it was named by Richie. It was agreed upon by me, but Richie came up with that name, so that just speaks for itself. If you don't know Richie, he's a musician. He actually teaches music. At least I think so. He was talking about practicing fingering with his students one day. I wasn't sure what he was talking. I was hoping he was talking about music too. But no, he actually knows a lot of instruments, and I think the instruments he plays actually make up a big facet of his personality. So he plays guitar because he's a douchebag. Obviously. He plays bass because he's a power bottom and he's a good support, and I respect our troops for that. He also plays the ukulele because he found that there was room still left in the douchebag, so he just wanted to fill it up till it burst. Also, he plays the drums. Sometimes when talking to him, I feel like bashing myself in the face, and he loves to play with his stick. What can I say? And obviously, he plays the bongos. They represent his luscious mantids. I love when large guys like myself make fun of other large guys who are significantly less large than them. It makes me feel A-okay. Anyway. Oh, I love Richie so much that this is real. I checked to make sure this was in here before, in my wallet, before we started the show, but this has been in here since he gave it to me. This is Richie Oliver's business card. I don't know if you can see it. It's rather petite. He handed this to me, and he said he wants people to know what it feels like to hold me in their hand, which I thought was a little strange, but at least he made it to size, so, it's a little bit compact. We're all okay. Richie, like I said, he's a musician. He has one EP called Pissing on Art, appropriate. He also has a self-titled album because he's lazy. But he recently told me he's going to be combining these two albums into one mega album. It's called Pissing on Myself. And I think it could be a big hit with the right crowd. I thought he'd save it for his OnlyFans after the success of Rumbling Richie's Rectum Rammers, but, that's his prerogative. I don't want to tell him how to make his business decisions. Speaking of, I meant to say, Richie often likes to ask people, do you eat ass? That's not a joke. He just does that sometimes.
Yeah.
And we're worried about you. Richie was once in a production of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown as a child. If he says he has a friend of color, that's what he means.
Jesus.
I wrote that one last minute. I'm glad it landed. Richie's a huge movie guy. This past year has been tough for him. He needs somewhere dark and secure to jack off. The crawl space in his house is starting to smell like chlorine. His mom's thinking they're getting a pool. I mean, I don't want to upset her. I mean, she's getting a pool of some kind, but I don't think she wants to dive in.
Oh, Jesus.
Richie does a character. Richie does a lot of characters, actually. Richie's a very funny guy because he does characters, and he does characters because he's a funny guy. Richie has a character named Timothy Clonier. I was going to call you Timothy because that's how good of a character actor you are. Richie, can you please give us about 10 seconds of Timothy Clonier real quick?
Okay.
Hi, my name is Timothy Clonier, and I'm here to talk about my buddy Richie Oliver. I think he's pretty cool. I'm looking for a bride. Who wants to find me one?
Richie, how would you describe that character? Like, what is a big word that you would use to describe that character?
Richie.
All right, good. That's good. Richie does a bunch of characters like that, it makes us all laugh. I'm just waiting for him to play someone funny. Let's take that back. Richie plays a lot of characters where I think they're super funny. I mean, it's the only way he can get someone to talk to him. All right, let's play that back one more time. Richie plays a lot of characters, but his newest character, Coco the Klepto, is not working as well at the strip club as he thought it would. And our hearts are out for him. Speaking of Coco, Richie looks like a gorilla. I would love to see a conversation between Richie and the gorilla from Congo. It goes something like this. Amy, good gorilla. Richie, heck, comedian. Now, you watching at home or wherever the fuck you are might look at this stream and you might be thinking this is the world's ugliest episode of the dating game. But we actually found a woman who is willing to stand within 1,000 feet of Richie. And she has turned this sausage fest into the shittiest potluck. Reagan Murphy is here. Oddly enough, probably the only one to not have seen Richie's chocolate starfish. But, we welcome you here anyway. Reagan's from Vermont. She's got pink hair. She works for a nonprofit, so it probably won't surprise you to find out that her father was a tab of acid and her mother was a half-finished art school degree. She told us she works for a nonprofit. Obviously, that's just homelessness with a better PR campaign, but we wish you all luck. When we were getting to meet Reagan a little bit, we talked about, what we want to joke about, what we're cool with. Reagan, not only didn't discourage jokes about her dead mom, but encouraged it. She was begging us to make jokes about her dead mom. She wanted us to go overboard. She wanted us to be the dead horse or our dead mom, if you will. So I have two. I realized right as we were about to start that one of them might not be okay, but I'll let you pick. Do you want the easy one or the hard one?
Hard one. Hard one.
Not you.
No.
It's your both? Okay. So the easy one was going to be, what's the difference between Reagan's mom and an ice cube? About 6 to 10 feet of dirt. Ha ha ha. The hard one.
God damn.
That's the easy one.
That's the easy one.
The second one, the hard one is, oh no. The hard one is, what do Reagan's mom and a skateboard have in common? They're both stiff, low to the ground, and I'd probably break them if I rode them. Fresh back from Europe, we have Les Claypool in the stands over yonder. Our good friend Tegan Flanders. He's alive from the dead. He's kind of like a locust, you know. He kind of disappears. He shows up every 17 years or so, and then the news has to put out a report to hide your food and children. You know, it's good to see him. I can say that. Tegan, you look good. It looks like you got a nose job since we last saw you. But I mean, typically people go smaller. But I mean, that's your prerogative, buddy. You do whatever you want to do. You live your truth. For those of you that don't know, actually, Tegan introduced Richie and I to each other. So if it weren't for Tegan, I probably wouldn't be here. So a sincere fuck you. But also, it's good to see that, you know, after a career like Tegan's, it's not too late to make another failure. You know, you still got time. You still got time to wreck people's lives, and you know what? He's doing it for us. He's still going, and I respect it. Actually, I think most of us have been members of Tegan's last group, and as he liked to say, he used to run it like a pirate ship, and that's true. I mean, he was always drunk. He made us call him captain. He forced me to drink port so he could rub my aft. You know, there are a lot of interesting times, but you know, we're glad you're finally crawled out of your hole and have decided to grace us with your luscious locks, Alice and Janney. From Tegan, obviously, we turn to the man who goes nose to nose with him. That's Stephen Norton. You know, some people like to wear their hair like a mullet. Like, you know, business in the front, party in the back. Steve's kind of got like that, but like, you know, like a top and a bottom. So he goes for like douchebag hipster on the bottom and then Nazi youth at top. I think it looks good. Actually, I think Steve and Richie might be in a Third Reich simp contest. And they're both losers, but their barbers won in the end. So you know.
Not Pog.
Oh, that's so good.
You know, Steve likes to make parody songs. A teaser for his next one. It may or may not have to do with some unsavory child loving. And once again, we're glad you're still writing from the heart, Steve. You know to write, and you know what we want to hear. So keep it coming. Steve recently found the joys of an online soundboard. He's been gracing us all with some great sounds. Steve, I don't know if you have the soundboard up. JK, I know you have the soundboard up. Can you play us some quick sounds?
I don't have it up, but I will.
Oh, disappointing! Boo this man!
Boo!
But I'm glad he's found the soundboard. You know, he's always trying to become that creepy guy on Newgrounds that he's always wanted to become. So I'm glad he's found his way back. After the show, actually, Steve said he'd do a party trick where he's going to spin on his nose. And then, you know, afterward, it should be sharp enough to take off that triangle face slug that Tegan's got going there. So, how can we forget our host? Seriously, how? I keep trying to forget. Even took some of those roofies that he's always trying to offer me. It's Nicholas Anderson. You know, he already hosts a number of parasites, which would explain the whole, you know. So we figured it might be a simple transition to hosting this wonderful show tonight. Excuse me. The vodka hit early. Nick always likes to say that comedy, you have to be comfortable with shitting on yourself. And you know, I thought that was really good advice until I saw the brown streak coming from his Depends, and I realized that he meant that more literally than I had hoped. In fact, I'm kind of surprised that Nick was able to get here tonight. Do you need a ride home, sir? Is your great grandchild coming to get? Do you have your AARP card on you? You get a discount on tonight's performance.
AARP.
Really though, I'm glad to always be back for these roasts. We're all glad to be here for Bitchy, Richie, Ricardo, Oliver. You know, Richie, you're just a bright light in this dark world. And, you know, if we weren't roasting you, we'd be toasting you. So, cheers to you.
Hello.
Salute.
Thank you.
So our next presenter tonight is accomplished, good at what she does. She's kind. She's caring. And when I met her, she immediately told me how much of a huge fucking slut she was in college. Told me all about how many dudes. She just started rattling them off. Alfonso, Ryan, Matt, Jimmy, Stevie, and I think a Sue, but I'm not 100% positive. But here's the best part. She also told us about how she was a pageant queen. She was in pageants at least. I think she only ever came in third for most of them. But we get to answer an amazing question tonight. We can find out where she buried Jean-Benet Ramsey. Reagan Murphy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. It is. I don't think I've actually ever been on a conference call with this many white dudes who think they're interesting enough to have a podcast. So this is really exciting.
Nice.
And I really enjoy this format too. You know, after being friends with Richie for so long, it's really hard to get this much attention on me when he sucked up almost all of it. So thank you so much for this spotlight here. Nick, I'm really glad that you offered to host tonight. You're doing an incredible job. And I'm also happy that the nursing home gave you the Wi-Fi password so you could join us virtually. It's good to see that they're still giving old people internet privileges. So I've had the pleasure of meeting these fine gentlemen over the past couple of weeks and getting to know them a little bit. And I gotta say, I never thought I'd meet somebody more self-centered than Richie Oliver until I met Tegan Flanders. Tegan is so obsessed with himself, he thinks that the movie Wolf of Wall Street was written about him. Which, I hate to break it to you, the fact that you lost all your money in New York City is the least unique thing about you. Tegan made a joke that he's one polyamorous relationship from being a cult leader, but thankfully there's only one woman in the world willing to be in a relationship with you, and it's not Richie Oliver. She seems like a nice lady. All right, Ben, it's been really great getting to know you as well. It's actually kind of hard coming up with jokes about Ben. The only thing I have learned about him is that he's fat and nice. So extremely well-rounded individual. I mean that literally. So I don't like to normally stoop so low to, make jokes about somebody's looks. So I'm going to try to avoid to do that and be really optimistic here and say, Ben, I am sure that you were in maybe the top 200 best-looking people at your community college. I honestly don't have a lot to say about Stephen either. One thing I can say, though, is that I'm really glad we got to meet virtually because I know meeting you in person would be uncomfortable as fuck. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
You got a whistle for that.
And to my fellow roasters, I really do mean it. It's been nice getting to know you. One thing I've been really reaffirmed in being from New Hampshire and living in Vermont is I have never hated the state of Massachusetts more than after I met all of you. So thank you for letting me know all of my assumptions about that state were 100% correct. All right, enough about these people that nobody gives a fuck about. Let's talk about Richie Oliver, the one that everybody has come here to see us make fun of. So a little bit of history about Richie and I. We both attended Southern New Hampshire University together, and he graduated the year before me. And we all breathed one collective sigh of relief when we walked across that commencement stage, and the 4-year nightmare was finally over. Richie was involved in a lot of things in college. He was very well known, did a lot of performing, and did a lot of videos for our Facebook group for the university as well. So Richie basically went from being the face of Southern New Hampshire University to being laid off, living in his parents' house, and teaching kids the G chord on ukulele. So you're really
That's so nice.
So despite his popularity in college, the only action he ever got was when our friend fucked his girlfriend in Richie's bed. A lot of you, I've heard a lot of you make jokes about Richie looking like a lesbian. And normally, as a bisexual woman, I don't like to speak for all queer women, but we did have a meeting and we decided that we don't want him either. My apologies to the straight women out there. You guys are going to have to take the L on this one. Don't let Richie's obsession with drag and the Rocky Horror Picture Show fool you. He is a straight man who just enjoys getting fucked in the ass on occasion. And that's not weird, everyone. That's not weird. We don't judge there.
Thank you.
I don't know if a lot of you know this, but Richie is actually half Portuguese. And I wish I could make a joke about what your mom would have said when you were born, but I don't know what Portuguese for I wish I had an abortion is.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, so nice.
God.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'll tell a little story of Richie and I's friendship. So I've been with my current boyfriend for 3.5 years now. And when I had just met him, I was really nervous to hang out with him in person for the first time. So I decided to invite Richie Oliver, who was a dear friend of mine at that time. And I knew if I wanted him to like me, all I had to do was introduce him to the least likable person that I knew. And I would seem a lot better in comparison.
God.
So we were talking recently and we thought, you know, it would be a really cute full circle moment to have Richie perform at our future wedding one day. And we, after some thought, we quickly decided against it because I realized giving Richie a microphone at any event would basically turn my wedding into an album release party. So that's definitely not something we want.
No.
Richie has had varying levels of success and notoriety over the years. With a couple of albums and one viral TikTok under your belt, you're on your way to having as disappointing of a legacy as being on a list of top 1,000 comedians. So thank you, Richie, for asking me to do this. Making fun of you is one of my favorite things in the world to do. We've known each other for a long time. I'm happy to see that you've found this group of clowns to make your little jokes with. So thank you for inviting me to do this, and thank you all for having me.
Thank you.
Very nice. Oh my God. So our next presenter has been successful in many fields in his life. He's been an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, homeless, a cokehead, a failed comedian, and he's the resurrection of Jesus. Tegan Flanders.
Thank you. Yeah. So let me start by saying Steve lied to me. I thought we were roasting John Oliver. So all my jokes were written for a whiny little cunt. Now, if we were roasting Nick, maybe this would still work. But with him hosting, we'll have to say the same thing that the girl that took your virginity did when she was drunk at 5 a.m., Richie, and that's you'll have to do.
God.
I know that, you know, you and I go back. I've known you a long time. I had the pleasure, for those of you that don't know, of meeting Richie back when I was touring with Herb Lorraine, who was one of the funniest, most talented people I've partied with and worked with. So you were young, Richie, and I think back at how naive you were. I mean, I think back when I had to get rid of my first casting couch, and you actually bought it off of me because you thought having one would let you get more roles. Yeah. I also remember that. Yeah. I remember how you would always guarantee to everybody that you're definitely Portuguese, despite Oliver obviously being a very not Portuguese name. I don't think you really understand what Portuguese is. You don't actually just eat pork and cheese. You are a cardiologist's best friend at 24. I think you're going to transplant by 30, buddy. Way to go. Now, before I keep tearing into him, Steve, as always, go fuck yourself for lying to get me here. Ben, Ben, man, boy, I want to thank the warden in the San Diego penitentiary system for allowing us your phone time for this.
He said I've been a good boy this day.
Ray, I really I haven't had much to know about you. I know you're from New Hampshire, Vermont. The only other thing I know that's from up there is like, maple syrup, and by the looks of you, I really can't tell which is stickier. So I also happen to know that you also roasted Richie another time in life. And this actually makes you the first female to ever do anything twice with Richie. So you're doing that this evening as well. And Nick, buddy, look, I know you're excited about the extra role you landed on Hawaii Five-0, but method acting is really not the way to go. I think you've been watching There Will Be Blood too often. Before I continue, I want to just say I know that you're a huge fan of the Grateful Dead and of Jerry Garcia, and you can really tell because when you listen to Richie's music, it also sounds like it was made by someone on drugs and missing fingers. Don't be fooled, though. Don't be fooled. Richie was not on drugs, and he has all his limbs. Now, if you want to see how much better you could sound, Richie, I've got some acid and a pair of pliers. So next time you're having a jam sesh, just let me know. Guys, thank you so much. And Steve, fuck you for lying to me. I thought it was John Oliver. Nick's still come too. Okay, bye guys.
Thank you, Tegan. Our next presenter is a member of NSFE. He was also a member of Funny Please, a previous group a lot of us were in that was founded by Tegan. He happens to be the guy who keeps switching the screens, which is why there's a little delay. He's a little bit slow of a gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Norton.
Thank you, Nick. It's a pleasure to be here tonight roasting the one and only Richie Oliver. Look at this dais. 5 creative, soft, sensitive men and 1 beautiful, strong woman. Oh, wait, that's Tegan Flanders. No, but seriously, think about it. We have 5 men and 1 woman on the dais tonight. That's 1 out of 6, or roughly 16%. Or the difference in pay we're giving Reagan for being here tonight. Nicholas Anderson, what can I say about this man that hasn't already been said? Alas, I will try. Nick is a proud descendant of the Swedes, a Scandinavian treasure that is a pleasure to be friends with. When God created Nick, he said, "Let his hair be brown like the mountains of Sweden. Let his skin be white and pale like the northern snow. Let his eyes be green like the fields of summer grass. And let his teeth be like IKEA. Yellow, blue, and difficult to put together." We all know Nick is a lover of women and a huge creep. Nick likes his women like he likes COVID. 19, Chinese, and severely mutated after a year of nonstop exposure to bodily fluids of millions of people.
Jesus.
Nick likes his women like he likes his coffee. Cultivated in a third world country for 3 to 5 years, and then ground and boiled minutes before consumption.
Jesus Christ.
Now, if you excuse me for a moment, I have something I'd like to show you guys. Nick Anderson. Who is Nick Anderson? Nick Anderson is Peter Griffin minus 50 pounds plus an extra chromosome. And just for shits, this is a partially cropped picture of Ben's face. Oh, and Nick, sorry, before I move on, I know they're taking away the mask mandates, but could you do us all a favor and still wear them in public?
Yeah.
Better? Yeah. Sam Kinison, Ben Mallow is here tonight. I just gotta say, man, I loved your work in the Goonies, but I thought you would look much older by now. Ben looks like the kid from Up swallowed Ed Sheeran. Ben recently moved to California. What better place is there to hide your own seismic contributions than hanging out near the San Andreas? Since he moved down there, though, it's been really tough for him, especially since the big gas shortage. Ben freaked out and filled up every container in his house he could find. Not that he has a car or anything, but how else is he going to power his industrial-sized hover round down to the flea market or cruise Skid Row at 6 a.m. to look for ass? I, for one, am thrilled that Ben is here tonight, because that means that John might finally be able to enjoy a slice of lasagna in peace. The lovely Reagan Murphy is here. But in her defense, she thought we were going to be protesting the patriarchy tonight. In case the hair color didn't give it away, Reagan is from Burlington, Vermont. She works for a substance abuse nonprofit trying to prevent kids from doing drugs. It's a noble endeavor, but it's challenging. If it weren't for the Xanax and 3 lines after lunch, she probably would never make it through the day. Reagan has said that she was slutty in college. I, for one, cannot speak to this. I can say, and Reagan will probably not remember this, but we did meet once while she was finishing her bachelor's. I remember it very clearly because she took my phone and added herself to my contacts with her profile picture set as a Staples Easy button. Coincidentally, she also saved her name as up, up, down, down, left, right, BA start.
Oh.
Reagan is bisexual, which is wonderful. I'm all for equality. Why should men be the only ones who have to stomach listening to her for more than 5 minutes? Really, though. It's a shame that in my lifetime, I only know of one Reagan who was shot.
Jesus Christ.
The great Tegan Flanders is here, everyone. Let's give him a round of applause, guys. Come on. Hear that, Tegan? That's what it sounds like. Tegan is the only performer I've ever met who practices crystal method acting. Tegan has been on hiatus for the last few years. You may have noticed his absence from entertainment or social media. Or at least you might have if he'd ever done anything noteworthy. Jesus, Tegan, look at you. What the fuck happened to you? He spent more time off the grid than Ted Kaczynski. The only difference is Tegan started bombing way before he locked himself up in the woods. You look like Bob Saget tripped on too much acid then started doing his own religious cult. It's called America's Funniest Home Temple, and it's mostly filled with twin blonde 5-year-olds. And finally, there's the man of the hour, Richie. I'm very proud of this man. He's reformed. He's changed. Not everyone takes to the therapy the same way, but I can say with confidence that the conversion was a success. Richie has spent more time living his life in the closet, learning to tongue snakes than Harry Potter. Richie is the IMDb of movies no one gives a fuck about. Not everyone, I'm sorry. Just in case anyone out there cares about how many extras were in Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, should ask him. Richie's a big fan of the movie The Room. which is why he decided to work with Nick Anderson. After all, who could turn down an opportunity to cast Tommy Wiseau in any sketch you'd like?
Hi, Doug.
Richie looks like a turtle staring hungrily at a slice of lettuce. If you don't believe me, take a look at this picture. Or this one. Richie plays acoustic guitar, which is great. He strums those strings beautifully. And when his fingers slip, they get to experience what it's like to enter a hole.
Fuck you.
Richie hasn't gotten laid in so long, there's no longer a seam left between his mattress and his box spring.
Oh my god.
Richie has been involuntary celibate for so long, he started to shop for sporting goods at Walmart.
God, Jesus.
Holy shit.
He's one rejection away from an incident.
Oh my
So
god.
ladies, please do us all a favor and take one for the team. I don't really want to see NSFE featured in 60 Minutes, okay?
God.
But Richie, he's a great guy. This was hard to do, not only because he's such a great guy, but I've shitted on him so bad in the past, it's been hard to come up with new material. And I just have to say that I love you, Richie.
I love you too, Steve. Thank you.
Oh my God. Steve, you killed it. My God, I am so proud of you. You made a joke. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the time of the roast where Richie gets to talk finally. Where Richie, the man of the hour, the musician, the actor, the performer, the kind-hearted turtle that we just found out about, gets to say his moment. So let's give it to him. Richie?
Thank you all so much for roasting me. Tegan, I love your hat. Look, I love this dais. Look at this dais, guys. This dais is like a cactus full of pricks. I love it. It's great. Look at this dais. Steve Norton's here. Hey, Steve, real quick, can you just wave at the camera and say hi? Say hi for me.
Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, Autism Speaks. Steve is a shorter man. Steve is a shorter man, so I think it's actually okay that we call him a wee tard. But I'm not too sure. Steve is a very cold person. Some people accuse Steve of having a resting bitch face, but to quote Steve himself, I have to see it. So Steve has autism. Steve has a known fear of heights.
What?
And Steve has openly said that he would never bungee jump, ever, because Steve was born from a broken rubber, and he's not going to go out the same way. But my favorite thing about Steve is Steve does like this really funny thing where he blames every like wrongdoing or miss thing or anything like that on his autism. It's so funny. You guys got to check it out. It's like one of the funniest things. I love it. It's great. Steve openly suffers from depression. And I just want to tell you, Steve, that like your life is not a joke, because jokes have meaning. All right.
Oh, shit.
And I really want you to know that. Nick Anderson is here. What I love about Nick is that he's not afraid to speak his mind. You know, the only problem is that his mind is constantly on the subject of cuties. That little that wonderful movie.
Nice.
Nick Anderson is that rarest of things. living a full life by the age of 40, Nick Anderson is never one to shy away from imparting wisdom on his fellow man. He has wonderful children that love him very much, and he's getting married to the love of his life next year. With a small coffee business, Nick knows what goes into hard work and paying your dues. With a now climbing amount of orders, Nick's small business has the potential to really boom. He truly has it all. A woman who loves him, children that adore him, and friends that always support him. So I would just like to say to Nick, fuck you, you ugly bitch.
Appreciated.
Nick told me about this little thing that it's the cutest thing he does with his wife Natalie. Whenever one of them's in bed or they both get in bed together, just to like show that like they're together and they're on the same page, is that they touch feet. They just take their little feet and touch. So Nick is white. Nick is so old and white that instead of like saying like to Natalie like, "Hey babe, can you lick my cock?" he probably says weird shit like, "Hey, can you like stimulate my frenulum?" He just goes for it. Tegan's here today. I love Tegan. Tegan's sporting the new Jesus look, if by Jesus you mean crack whore.
Oh, that's good.
You know, none of us here are African, but why does it look like you can still support Tegan Flanders for 39 cents a day? Tegan, once again, I love your hat. With this new look, Tegan now has a new opening joke for his Tight 5. People who aren't aware of Tegan's Tight 5, it used to always start with him saying something about how your girl would be saying his name like Tegan, Tegan, Tegan. But now to open his show, he actually just walks out on stage fully naked, yells, puts the lotion in the basket, and people just applaud and throw loose change at him. It's great. I love it. The one thing I want to say about Nick, going back to Nick real quick, is that Dr. Giggles is the name he goes by online. And I just want to say that is so less creepy than Joran.
Oh, no.
That's how it's going to work.
Oh, no, dude. Oh, no.
Ben Milo is here, everyone. Look at Ben. Ben's the type of guy to watch porn and comes at when the pizza arrives. I love it. Great. Ben and I had a movie review show together because that's what the world needs. 2 more straight white guys reviewing classic cinema. Ben decided to move out to California, not because of acting. He just wanted to try his hand at waitressing. You know, they're always looking for new ones out there. It's great. He wants to go for it. Ben moved out to California because he accepted a job offer there. Well, I mean, it's still his job, but they kind of moved him out there. He's also looking to maybe get some acting jobs out there. The sad thing is that there aren't any films right now that are looking for an overweight LeFou type. Reagan Murphy's here. Reagan Murphy's one of my dear friends from college. Reagan currently resides in Burlington, Vermont, because she realized that her pussy isn't quite crusty enough. Now that she's been there, it's like opening a cold grilled cheese sandwich. Oh, great. And that's completely fine for her boyfriend Jamie, mainly because Reagan openly cucks her boyfriend after about 2 Smirnoff Ices, which is great, you know. If you want to know more about that, you can check out Morg's Disposable on Instagram. Great. Reagan is so hipster, she wears pigtails. You can't see them right now because she's wearing pants. Reagan went through a so-called slut phase in college. Reagan is so full of cum that her nickname is Fenway Park Urinal. Reagan is so full of cum that Obama called her to bail out the sperm banks. Reagan is so full of cum. Reagan just moved out to Burlington, Vermont. I feel like I have to say this, Reagan, because nobody else is going to. Maple syrup is not lube. It's not. God. You're the one bringing back the cicadas. They can smell it. It's awful. Sucks. God. That's it. That's all I gotta say. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And thank you for everyone on the dais for imparting me with love, I think, and wisdom, and everyone. And let me just say, I have so many spoons right now. All my spoons are here.
As they should be.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. So I think we've all laughed tonight, have we not? I think we've all enjoyed ourselves. I know many people on Facebook have. Now, if you enjoyed what you saw tonight, we do have a PayPal account that Steve's going to put up in the chat real quick. If you like what we do, if you want to see more, please donate a little bit so we can keep doing what we're doing. As well as we do have another show coming out on the 26th of next month. It's our music show. It's an improv sketch comedy show. It will have a couple of sketches in it. It'll have some improv games, some entertainment. It'll be a good time. Come watch it on the 26th, okay? I would like to thank Reagan Murphy, Tegan Flanders, Stephen Norton, Ben Milo for all coming and making fun of Richie. And also, I'd like to thank Richie himself. Thank you, sir, for letting us make fun of you. We all appreciated it. I think we all learned a good lesson today that Richie is easy to make fun of. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a good night.
Bye.
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 Labia.
Jesus.